Aloha mai kako Kyolamau now with this week's extended weekly rhythm. So, talking again in the last few weeks, we've really been taking on a lot in terms of the energy, the resonance, and the frequency of what's pouring in. Now, ultimately, this is intentional. It is to help support us to move, to really reveal to us the things that we don't know that we don't know. And these are held in deep, subconscious, and very much usually the case, unconscious processes. It's the stuff that we don't know that we don't know. And this comes in from usually two general areas. One is our incarnational cycles, the lives that we have lived and occupied and the lessons that we have accrued. Also going into more ancestral pieces in terms of our lineage. And that comes into like epigenetics and what it is that we are taking on and upon. So be aware of what's coming up for you. The last 2 weeks especially, we're really dealing with a lot in terms of those emotional triggers. Whatever is triggering you to a certain degree is something that is coming out from within you. Deep subconscious stuff means that we're not really aware that it's even there, so just be very intentional upon your awareness in terms of what you're being more drawn into, what you're being triggered by, and what is that trigger ultimately related to. Now, another thing that we also want to be looking at is we're still in that foundational piece where we're really looking at that foundation, the framework, and then the functionality. As we look at that, then we want to be able to identify that because we're at the very beginning of our legacy work. And that really starts with us in terms of our genius. Our legacy work, again, just being the thing that we are really here to do. The contribution. It is how we make the world better for having been. Now, be aware of this because as that comes into play, the foundation that we're building upon is ourselves, and that is our genius, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, if we have a shoddy foundation, then ultimately the framework is not going to stand. So those triggers that we're looking at are those areas of unseen opportunity. They're invitations really to look at those areas, our Achilles heel, if you will, and how it is that we can grow beyond that. Now, as we identify that, then we want to see what we're really most inspired by. A couple of months back, we're really talking about inspired action, and that inspired action is something that is leading us into a place and into a space. Now, even more relevant, we want to see where in our area of our life are we more motivated and we are more inspired, because as we really allow ourselves to move into that space, it really opens up to a new place for us to be able to inhabit and to occupy. Now, as all of that continues to unfold, then we really are moving further into our collective as well, right? Once our framework is built upon the foundation, as a certain functionality, and people are just going to be drawn into our fields. Now, be very discerning about this, because as you will come to realize is that everyone who is around you does not necessarily need to surround you. And what that really means to say is that just because someone is popping into your life does not necessarily mean that it's a synchronicity that will ultimately support your legacy work or even the fulfillment of your genius. So be very discerning on how you want to spend your energy, and look at it in terms of how your body actually responds around the person that you are around, because often what our bodies will tell us is very direct. It's something that allows us to be very in tune in terms of what is actually going on. And to help with that, we're going to do a very quick exercise. So what you're going to want to do is basically find a quiet place and space and close your eyes. Now, as you close your eyes, just take a few breaths. Breathe easily, breathe naturally. Breathe fully into this moment. And just become aware of your head, of your brain, of your mind. And identify this as your thinking and conscious mind. Now focus upon breath again, the rising and falling of your chest, and feel into your heart center. This more a matter of emotion. And now allow yourself to connect further down within your abdomen. That gut feeling, your na'au, as we say in Hawaiian, your enteric nervous system, and more a matter of your spiritual connectivity. Now bring to heart, to mind, and to body something that you are mulling over, something you're considering, a choice that you have to make to do or to not do. And now as you bring that to mind, to heart, and into body, feel where within your body is there a subtle yet often profound response. When you think of this choice, the choices, do you feel a response within your tummy, perhaps a gurgling of sorts? Do you feel warmth within your chest? Do you feel a tingling within your head? As we present ourselves with questions, with choices, with options in the decision making ahead, tune into whether it comes from your head, your heart, or as the Japanese say, your hara, your gut. And know that those choices coming from your hara are spiritual in nature. That those options will have and ultimately benefit you. Those coming from within your heart have a purpose, more emotional, and can still create an experience, though maybe not necessarily in your best interest. And while things may make absolute sense in your head, it may be and often is at the expense of both your heart and your soul. Tune into your body and allow the choices and decisions that you make to attune to your own spiritual frequency. Breathe out, allowing all air now to expire from your lungs. Breathe in slowly, deeply, fully holding this breath. Exhale heavy with a sigh. And when ready, please feel free to again open your eyes and to once more engage the world around you. All right, so talking about this in terms of the decision-making process, do take time, create space to be able to allow your attention to really connect with where's the flows of energy with the choices that you have in front of you. Head, heart, or hara, it comes from a certain place, and we can make better decisions largely when we allow ourselves to be led by our own self. Okay, that's it for now. Love and aloha. Take care, and ahui ho.